Porsche's place in the automotive world is unquestionable. Porsche enthusiasts are well versed in the details that distinguish the 911 from other high-performance sports cars. Still, casual observers may find it more challenging to determine the 911 from other high-performance sports cars. The Porsche 911 has been in production since 1963, when it was first launched, and despite numerous substantial modifications along the way, the modern 911 is a recognized descendant of the original. Many people consider the Porsche 911, in its multiple versions, to be the best sports automobile ever built. But what makes the 911 an iconic car? And how much is it worth? Well, let's find out. But first, please leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos. Porsche 911 owners are among the most devoted, with some refusing to drive any other sports car. If you ask a child to draw a sports automobile, the figure they create will most likely resemble the Porsche 911. For nearly 60 years, the 911's unique design has been adored worldwide. It's difficult to envision a Porsche that doesn't sell the 911, and it's also difficult to overstate the 911's impact on the sports car market and the wider automotive industry. Sports cars have the disadvantage of being tough to drive. They're challenging to park. Picture opening a Lamborghini's scissor doors in a congested parking lot. They use fuel, make long trips difficult without refilling, and are uncomfortable. The Porsche 911, on the other hand, can be driven in any situation. First and foremost, the 911 has outstanding fuel efficiency. Additionally, the 911 has a rain mode that can assist you in driving safely and steadily at high speeds, even in rainy conditions. It also has features like rear-wheel steering and an optional front axle lift mechanism that makes it easier to climb over speed bumps. Some may argue that it isn't a significant factor. However, for sports car lovers, the fact that you can quickly drive this monster to the grocery store while driving it around the track like crazy is a significant plus. So, what else is there to say? The word 911 does not leave you indifferent if you are a serious sports car fan. The 911 set numerous records in automobile history, including turbo compression and all-wheel drive. The Porsche 911's interior is stunning. It's sumptuous and technologically advanced, with complete leather trim and with veneer. The infotainment system is simple to operate, and the optional Bose speaker sound system adds to your driving enjoyment. The cockpit is not cramped because the cabin is spacious. You also receive premium Alcantara that conjures the spirit of the track and a lovely clock in the middle of your dashboard, even if you have a sportier version like the GT3 RS or GT2 RS. Even though it can outpace anything on a back road, the 911 stays faithful to Porsche's commitment to luxury. Everything is in its proper place, and there is ample space for your bags and groceries. It's known as the everyday supercar for a reason. Rear engine layouts appear to be a horrible idea on paper and the road. Aside from smart cars, the Renault Twingo, and the Porsche, there's a reason why cars don't have a considerable portion of weight hung perilously behind the rear axle. Weighting the rear driving wheels improves acceleration grip, which is a desirable thing, but when combined with high power, having the engine at the back means these cars' natural home is poking nose out of a ditch at the exit of a turn. The 911 is appealing because of this layout for two reasons. First and foremost, no car will stir your soul as much as the Porsche 911. With a hefty, gripping back end and a light front end that fluctuates based on the position of your right foot, the handling is a different and tactile experience. Turn in is quick, the car feels agile, and the grip is out of this world, especially in later models. The chassis as a whole is buzzing with activity. Overcooking is frequently a point of no return. Thus, driving necessitates the most significant level of sacrifice in exchange for the greatest reward. Second, Porsche's masochistic engineers have been obliged to engineer the 911 like no other car because of its unconventional layout. The 911 is now a more complete package than any other car on the planet, with four-wheel drive, rear axle steering, constantly upgraded Porsche active suspension management to actively and continuously control the damping force of each wheel, Porsche Torque Vectoring Plus, Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control to minimize body roll and ceramic brakes. The Porsche 911 is a thoroughbred sports car related to the Volkswagen Beetle. After all, the Beetle and the 911 were designed by the same family. Ferdinand Porsche designed the Beetle and his grandson Ferdinand Alexander Porsche designed the 911. For various reasons, the Beetle had an air-cooled engine, simplicity, durability, superior aerodynamics because it didn't require a radiator up front, reduced weight, and the requirement for less space. The Porsche 911 obtained an air-cooled engine, although with 6 cylinders, through its previous 356 model, developed by Ferry Porsche, son of Ferdinand and Ferdinand Alexander's father. The low center of gravity of the flat boxer layout was another advantage for handling. Even though Porsche moved to conventional water-based cooling decades ago, the 911's air-cooled history contributed to its popularity. The final air-cooled Porsche 911 was introduced in 1998, with plans for a liquid-cooled successor set out years earlier. The air-cooled 911 versions could carry less weight, but they are prone to overheating. The 911 handles beautifully. Nowadays, creating a car with rapid steering is simple. Any car maker can throw a big electric solid motor on the steering box and have it respond rapidly, but they can't always deliver on precision and steering feel. Even though you wouldn't anticipate a rear-engine car to have enough weight over the front to communicate anything to your hands, Porsches have always had an excellent steering feel. Even the dead patch in the center is nearly gone in the 911. Porsche's time spent on racetracks has enhanced handling engineering and suspension geometry, but technology is another aspect of the brand's cornering performance. Porsche's rear-wheel steering has evolved into a design masterpiece in the last few years. Improved versions of this technology have been added to the 911, allowing it to move its hips in the middle of a corner to prevent the car from stepping out under power. Everyone has access to 911. There was also a Porsche 911 for folks who liked to drive slowly in 1965. It was known as the 912, and it used the same basic 4-cylinder engine as the previous 356, not a Beetle, contrary to popular belief, with a top speed of 160 miles per hour. The Rough CTR, a 469 horsepower twin-turbo 911 with the same body and essential base, but exceeded 211 miles per hour on a 15.5-mile test oval at Ahrlesien, Germany, arrived 2 decades later. The Porsche 911 has gone through several variations, from tuners to standalone manufacturers like Rough, making unique vehicles. Some firms reimagine historic Porsches, such as Singer. If there isn't at least one Porsche 911 that you lust after, whether it's a 1988 Carrera CS or an early 70s Carrera RS 2.7, you should check your pulse. The Porsche 911 is always a pleasure to be around. Only recently have supercars become drivable. Driving the world's fastest automobiles was terrifying, short and slow until Audi took over Lamborghini and Honda began producing supercars. Most rappers could do without parking a Lamborghini Countach in a metropolis. They were nearly impossible to see out of, even if the clutch didn't overheat and cause the V12 to explode. Rick Ross could now drive his Murcielago through a Starbucks drive-thru without the engine stalling. 911s had one thing going for them. They were easy to drive at moderate speeds, with a sumptuous interior and good vision, and everyday dependability comparable to a family saloon. They could easily keep up with far more exotic cars when they were not restrained and expensive. When you combine that with front seat cargo room and 2 modest back seats, you have a sports vehicle that is genuinely practical. Or a supercar, if you have the turbo version. You can even acquire an official bike rack or roof box for your surfboard. The 911 was designed to compete. Many automobile companies claim motorsport heritage, but no one has more bragging rights than Porsche, except Ferrari. The Stuttgart manufacturer has no distinction between sports vehicles and race cars, as the two feed into each other. What is taught on the racetrack eventually makes its way onto public roadways. Some of the race cars are modified regular automobiles. On June 10, 1956, a Porsche 550 ARS, the same type that James Dean died in, won the Targa Florio endurance race in Sicily for the first time. Since then, Porsche has competed in practically every sort of motorsport imaginable, frequently winning. Porsche has always taken racing seriously, as seen by the 911 record. The 911 is simple to upgrade and maintain. Its popularity created an industry of unrivaled mechanical and aesthetic upgrades. With Porsche original parts or tech ribbon options, owners can modify and improve their Porsches in any way they see fit. And it's a wrap. Which part of the 911 do you find to be the most outrageous? Comment below. Let's engage. Also, please leave a like and subscribe for more exciting, luxurious car videos. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Goodbye.